Oh, thanks for staying here on News Desk. Now, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana is engaging the various political parties on the National Fertilizer Subsidy Program and its sustainability. The association is also looking at the validation of monitoring reports on the 2015 Fertilizer Subsidy Program. Let's get on to the phone lines and now speak to Programs Officer of the Peasant Farmers Association, Charles Nyaba, who is now joining me on phone to shed a lot more light on the issue. Mr. Nyaba, good morning. Thanks for joining us here on News Desk.
Good morning, and good morning to the listeners.
Right. So, first of all, the question on the minds of many is really what this fertilizer subsidy program is all about for the many people who do not know what it is.
Thank you very much, but let me just correct your headline. We are not engaging the various political parties, but the CPP team who are drafting their 2016 political party manifesto are coming to actually engage farmers on other issues, including the fertilizer subsidy program.
Right.
Now, today's workshop is actually a validation report that we monitor the 2015 fertilizer subsidy implementation. You know, there were a lot of weaknesses during the implementation that made it impossible for majority of smallholder farmers to benefit from the subsidy. So we actually launched a research. We engaged a research team that went to the field to talk to farmers, both women and men, fertilizer importers and retailers, to know the challenges that face them, for us to recommend to government to improve in 2016. So actually today's workshop is actually to discuss those findings, and then we come up with a position paper and present to government to ensure a smooth fertilizer subsidy program in Ghana. Now, apart from that, we started a program in 2012 upon realizing that government these days deviates from a development policy to implement the political party's manifesto. So we also begin to now engage them anytime they are going to draft their political party manifesto to consider issues that we think are important for agriculture in this country, for them to consider them in their party's manifesto. So this time around, we've been planning to engage them one after the other. So when the opportunity came, we approached CPP and they expressed interest to come and listen to concerns of farmers. So after that, it will help them to know the kind of issues that they will capture in their agriculture portion of their 2016 manifesto.
We'll be coming to this a bit later, but let's focus on the fertilizer subsidy program, for instance. What's the status of it as we speak?
Yeah, as we speak, last week, the Minister of Food and Agriculture launched the 2016 fertilizer subsidy program. Now, there are a lot of changes that has been made compared to the 2015 one. This time around, we keep calling that we cannot continue to rely on chemical fertilizer, and there was a need for them to include organic fertilizer. So there's an allocation of 18 million Ghana cedis to subsidize organic fertilizer, which we think is good. There has also been increase of the subsidy component from a 21% in 2015 to 26%, which we also think is good. Now, our concern is not only the fact that they announced it, but our concern has to do with sometimes they will do the announcement, but before the fertilizer will get down to the farmers, it becomes a problem.
And how does that happen?
It normally happens because, retailers are positioned in district capitals. Now, farmers are located sometimes more than 10 kilometers away from the district capital. So if they are located at district capital, it becomes difficult for those who are far away from the capital from getting it. Apart from that, last year they were using what we call passbook. And it was very difficult for majority of rural farmers, especially women, to have access to this passbook. And if you don't have the passbook, you are not going to get a fertilizer. So that was one other problem. Apart from that, the subsidy itself came late. It came at a point where majority of farmers have already applied fertilizer and they didn't need to. The essence actually, we didn't feel the impact. Apart from that, the prices were high because the market price for compound fertilizer last year was 115 Ghana cedis, and the subsidized one was 89 Ghana cedis. So imagine a farmer who has to travel all the way from 10 kilometers away to come to a district capital to come and then go through and get a passbook, and he's getting a difference of less than the 20 Ghana cedis. Such farmer will even think that if you buy from the open market, it's better. So these were some of the challenges that we encountered in 2015. So we hope that the 2016 one, provisions will be made to address those problems. So far, there hasn't been any strategy on how to address those problems. So we are hoping that during the implementation stage, there will be strategy to address those problems.
So is it that you haven't provided any options as to which kinds of strategies needs to be employed to ensure that there's a smooth sailing here, or you have made the suggestions but you've just been ignored?
Yeah, we've made suggestions according to the fertilizer debt. They were considering them, and that they will consider them in the implementation. So the announcement of 18 million Ghana cedis for the organic fertilizer is giving us a hope that at least they have listened to the recommendations that we gave them.
Is that what were your recommendations exactly?
We recommended that the chemical fertilizer is not the way to go because it continues to destroy the soil. So we need to move away from chemical fertilizer and begin thinking of sustainable agriculture, which includes organic fertilizer. So the fact that they've announced that they've allocated 80 million, it means that at least it's one way of ensuring that. And also we call for early release of the subsidy program. This is the first time since the initiation of the fertilizer program that in March they announced the subsidy program. Now, announcement is different from disbursement of fertilizer. So, though the announcement came early, as we've been talking about, we hope that they will stick to their word by ensuring that the allocation actually get to the farmers before the farming season starts in April.
So, this is something you are engaging in with government as we speak. Now, is there the thoughts of extending it to other political parties, because clearly we are in an election year and any other political party could be leading the country from 2017? Is there the thought or the plan to extend the discussion to a lot more people, bring in a lot more stakeholders to get the best approach to handling this issue?
So that's why we are saying that sometimes we don't limit it to one particular political party. You know, the fertilizer subsidy program was initiated by MPP government in 2008. So if we were to be dealing with only MPP government by now, we would have been in trouble. So sometimes it's good for you to deal across the various political divides because you don't know who is going to be in power after 2016. So we started with a CPP. We will tell them our strategies, which we think that if government adopts, it will lead to smooth implementation of the program to benefit farmers. After that, we will engage NPP. We also give them the strategy, not only the fertilizer subsidy program, but other programs that we think that if government implements, it will help address challenges in the agriculture sector. We will engage NDC as well. We will engage PPP because 2012 we already engaged PPP. They consulted us before they did their manifesto. We will engage PPP and all the other important political parties to give them our recommendations concerning agriculture, because we are thinking that we, those in the sector, we know the problem. Sometimes when people just sit on their desks and then they do problem, they don't know the real problem on the field. So you sit on your desk and draft a policy, you go to the implementation, then you face a challenge. So normally we think that any political party that is willing to listen to our concerns, at the end of the day will be able to address the problem. And this year, we are also going to constitute our own team. The team will try to analyze all the manifestos of the political parties and look the one that is more friendly to smallholder farmers. We encourage our people to go in for that party.
Mr. Nyaba, many thanks for your time here on News Desk this morning. And Charles Nyaba is the Programs Director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. He's been sharing with us a lot more on that fertilizer subsidy program. We'll come back to that later on if there's some more time. But now to the Ghana Meteorological Agency, which is predicting a short growing season for farmers this year. Now, according to the Deputy Director of Operation at the agency, Andrew Nkansa, the rains have set in much earlier this year and will also likely stop earlier than expected. And as the World Observed Meteorological Day today, the agency says it's cash-strapped and lacks sufficient equipment to do their work effectively.
a lot of people do take interest in the kind of weather that we have from day to day.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about the patterns. Are things changing?
Everybody is talking about climate change, so definitely things are changing. But we can talk of variability and change. Even when things are not changing, things can vary. Variability means from year to year, you see slight changes occurring. In that one, you cannot refer to it as climate change. That will be climate variability. For instance, if last year was dry and this year is wet, you can't say because this year, last year was dry and this year is wet, so for that matter, there is what? A climate change. That will amount to climate variability. But if you want to talk about change, then you have to observe the pattern over a very long period of time. And then you look at the trend. So even within the variability, there will be a definite trend, and that will tell you whether there is a climate change or not.
Do you think that as Ghanaians we care about our meteorological service?
I don't think we care. We are only interested in what comes out of the Ghana Meteorological Agency, but not much about how we are resourced to be able to provide the services that the citizens need. We lack a number of equipment that will help us to do our work effectively. But we are making do with the little that we have. But all I can say is that there's more room for improvement. If we get more resources, more equipment, I think we can provide much better services to the satisfaction of the citizenry.
So what's the topmost priority for the agency today?
I think for any organization, money, cash is very important. We are cash strapped, let me put it that way, and we also need human resources. We have a number of stations that are closing down, and we are not able to get people to continue manning those stations because of difficulty in replacing staff who retire. So these are the most important things, the two most important things that we need: the financial resource and then the human resource. Most of the time, people do criticize us for not giving the correct forecast and all that. But there's one thing that we all have to know, that if you take the city of Accra, it's very big. Sometimes you give the forecast and it rains in some area and it doesn't rain in other area. So if you happen to be in an area where there was no rainfall, the tendency is for you to criticize the Ghana Met Agency that what we forecast did not come true, but that might not be the correct picture. So
that seemed to bother the agency, right?
It does bother us a lot because sometimes it's disheartening after you've put in all the effort and you've been able to come out with the correct forecast, and because somebody didn't see the rain, even though it rained somewhere, and you are giving such criticism, of course it dampens your morale.
Now, flag bearer of the Progressive People's Party, Dr. Papa Kwesi Nduom, has charged Ghanaian youth to develop their full potential in order to be able to harness opportunities that would be made available to them by the right leadership. Speaking at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Dr. Nduom charged the youth to take advantage of their talents and develop their entrepreneurial skills in order to remain relevant in society.
Just as wonderful, just as brilliant than any other one anywhere else in the world. All that you need is you need a bit of opportunity. And where do we get opportunity? In a country called Ghana. That is where I go just a little bit into politics. And I say to you, you get what you go for. You get what you go for. You cannot go and plant a seed for maize and expect that in a little while you will get rice. It is not possible. It is not possible. You are smart people. You are intelligent people. That is why you are here. It is important for you to understand, just as I have come to understand, that I could be the best businessman in Ghana. I could have the most brilliant ideas. But if someone in government thinks that this man is dangerous, that this person is someone who we should make sure doesn't exist here, where would all my brilliance go? Do you know who you are? And do you know what you can become? I am here to tell you this evening that you have been endowed with a brilliant mind, wonderful God-given talent, the same as any human being on this earth. Anyone, and I am a testimony to that. If me, the man standing here, a boy from Elmina, if I can rise and I can go to school, I can go to St. Augustine's, I can move from there, I can go to the US, I can sit in the same classrooms as everybody else, and I can rise to be a partner in a firm like Deloitte and Touche, and be like any one of those people who are partners of the firm in the US. At the time when there were about 1,000 partners, there were 5 of us who were black. One originally from Jamaica. Two of them from the US. A third one, a woman, also from the US, from the South, and me, from Africa. If I can rise to get to that level, if I can rise to get to that level, based on where I came from.
And I was flag bearer of the Progressive People's Party, Dr. Parkwesi Sindom, in an interaction there with students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. We're taking a break here on News Desk. When we come back, we'll bring you business updates with Emmanuel Abuaji. Stay with us.